Ah, oh, you can already see the screen. I did not mask that on OBS. Interesting. It doesn't matter. Hi, hello, and welcome to the library. I hope that you are doing very well. Today is kind of weird, strange stream, at least very different from what we did beforehand, or just before in general, because this is, as you may have seen on social media, Discord, or whatever in the title of the stream, this is a sort of like co-working stream. Because what I'm searching, what I'm doing like research on today doesn't work very well, I believe, for Let's Read Together. It's not a topic that I am very well versed in for now. And because of that, I wanted to, work on it on the background before sharing it later on, maybe, in one stream in a few weeks or whatever. So you will be kind of able to see what I am doing, but it's blurred, obviously, because I don't want to, first of all, dox myself, and second of all, to reveal information about my research too early. So yeah, it's blurred, but it's also like a good way for me to, be accountable, to try to be productive still. I don't know how long we'll be here, probably like 2 or 3 hours, depending on how much I want to do, what I have to do also. But yeah, today is a nice day because it's very bright outside. It's very beautiful and not too hot this weekend, and last week was really, really hard. I think we were hitting, more than like 30 degrees, something like that, for several days. And this is not very fun. I think it came so suddenly that my body is still not used to, this heat. And we are not even yet in July. So very, very harsh week last week, and today was kind of a respite from that. It's warm, but without being like unbearable, especially on the inside. I don't want to put AC and stuff, and being able to just live normally is kind of nice. So this is good. I was walking outside. I took like a long walk, maybe a bit more than I should have, because I kind of want to do a nap, but we cannot because we're streaming. And also, like, there are a few things that I needed to do, inside, and I was not able to do them. I have some cleaning I need to do at some point after stream, probably. And I've not finished my Japanese, but that can probably wait. Okay, so this is a co-working session, but I'm not doing like the same thing as, other people when they tend to do those things. Normally, it's kind of like set up as, a Pomodoro session where there's like mostly silence for quite a while, and then we take a break of, I don't know, whatever you want to do in your Pomodoro. We're not doing that today because I don't need Pomodoro. I don't need breaks. I'm the type of person being like, I can yap and work at the same time. I can do multiple things. So if you are kind of like searching for something very, I don't know, clean to, watch, this is probably not the best stream. But if you're also here for some yapping, I think it's pretty good. Because I'll be yapping about things, for my research and other topics that come to mind while I am working. So today, I am focusing on like my big research. You can probably see that, it's a very long document. And I've kind of talked about that, I think, at some point, maybe on Blue Sky, I can't remember. But I need to work on Yokohama. last time we talked about like Yokosuka when we were into this topic about like fishing also in the rivers inside the city. And the topic today is about like Minato Mirai Nijuichi and we're kind of like analyzing this skyline, this cityscape of like Yokohama, and what kind of ideas is conveyed by this particular view of the city. And there's a very interesting like story to Yokohama. Nowadays, if you kind of like talk about Yokohama and see like how the officials talking about the city, it feels like it was kind of like a vacant city that was repurposed for, you know, modernity. So you have like a lot of like business buildings and stuff like that, very, you know, high skyscrapers, very formal city, very, you know, very modern. Looks very nice. And we kind of talked about that, like about Yokosuka, I think, and we saw that people were not happy with Yokosuka, the modernization of Yokosuka, because it kind of like emptied the district, the city, from its identity by removing what felt traditional, basically. And this situation is kind of like the one that we have with Yokohama. Yokohama was a city with, you know, a very, you know, deep history since the Edo era, and well, mostly since the Edo era. And you have a lot of different activities that were historically situated in this district. And the problem is that when in the basically 80s, the government and the municipality decided to rejuvenate Yokohama, they kind of like destroyed and displaced a lot of people that were previously living and working there, trying to, you know, invent the idea of vacant place. And there's this hollowing out of Yokohama that has been taking place before, you know, the skyscrapers and Minato Mirai Nijuichi was built. And this is kind of what I'm trying to explore today, because my idea is to show that waterfronts are obviously a way to showcase modernity in a very specific fashion. And this is the same thing with like riverscape. And I've been interested especially in a lot of like fiction that is taking place in Yokohama, and you have a lot of people, especially detective stories and thrillers, where somebody is killed and the corpse is thrown in the Tokyo Bay from the pier of whatever you know harbor in Yokohama. And my hypothesis is that because of this like conflict between like modernity and what was here before, be it like traditional, in like an invented tradition, or something that is, I don't know, implanted for a long time, but people or the government doesn't want to make it visible. For example, you know, prostitution and everything that is pertaining to like nightlife or illegal activities, bordering illegal activities. They're kind of like throwing out the window, and there's like a conflict between those two poles. And this explains kind of like a fascination / like rejection of what Yokohama is as, you know, a modern hub, very multicultural, very westernized, and so on. And you can see that like in a lot of like film and books and games, and I want to work on that. But to be able to do that, I need to make a quick history of Yokohama. So this is kind of what I'm like searching today. I'm kind of like browsing books and stuff that is talking about the development of Yokohama in the, 60s to 80s, 90s, trying to have like a better grasp of the situation, trying to create like approximate chronology so I can work on that. So that's basically what I have to do today. So I have several books. I don't really think that you can see them. I mean, you will be able to see that I'm reading them, but this is blurred, obviously, so it doesn't really matter. And I need to open like one of the books that I needed to check. Yeah, there's one book. Well, this is the one like in the thumbnail of this stream on YouTube and on Blue Sky also, doing ethnography in the wake of the displacement of transnational sex workers in Yokohama, which is a book I've already read before. Sorry, I'm also like opening some snacks. This is a book I already read, but kind of like, I don't know, in a very cursory way, I would say. There were like a lot of interesting ideas, but I was not yet on that topic back then, so I did not take notes and focus too much on like the specifics. But this is a very, very, very good book, and I'm kind of like reading that again today. So I can like have a better idea. This is a very good book because it's talking about Yokohama, but it's also talking about, and I quote, the water trade in the Koganecho neighborhood, where exploitative and stigmatized labor took place, involving sexual services performed by migrant women. And in recent years, the city sought to rebrand Koganecho, evicting transnational migrant sex workers who had been integral to post-industrial development and erasing their past presence. And this is kind of like what we find also with the Sumida River. If you watch like the Sumida, and we talked about that, like the Sumida River terraces, it's very clean, very modern, very nice. But the Sumida River was adjacent to, the Asakusa district, and is still adjacent to the Asakusa district, and the temple of Sensoji. And there's like a whole part of Sensoji that is about geisha and about like sex workers. And this is also part of like a history of the Sumida River that has been removed when there was like the modernization in the 2010s to be able to make it a very, nice walkable place. So very interesting. And like the writer Ayaka Yoshimizu is kind of using like, she's talking about like the memoryscape of Yokohama, and how like you can still feel traces of this past in the city nowadays. And what is very interesting to me, and this is kind of like the reason why I was focusing so much on this book, is that she writes through the imagery of water in ways that are informed by the local usage and imaginations. Because of course, Yokohama, there's like the ocean, there's the rivers, there's swamps, humidity, alcohol, the fluidity of relationships and transient lives. And she explains that the water also offers a way to sense the ghost or the displaced lives and the effects of displacement that, like humid air, sticks to those who occupy or inhabit the site of displacement today. So very, very interesting. This is part of the the series in like the Routledge collection called Sensory Studies, which is well, a collection on literally sensory studies, and this is very nice because it's very global. So there's like books about like food culture in London. There's things about like power and the display of power in South Africa. There's things about like again about Japan. There's like a sort of like sensory tour of Japan. So a lot of very, very interesting things. And I think like there has been a rise of like sensory studies as part of like the cultural studies in the past, I would say like 20 years, but it has been very prevalent in the last 10 years. So yeah, very interesting. Can't watch stream. Again, don't worry, have fun, you know. You don't. I appreciate you coming here to say hello, but yeah, have fun, and thank you again. So yeah, very, very interesting book, and this is a very good book. I'll probably just read like the introduction, chapter 1 today, taking some notes and trying to find some ideas. So I'm yapping right now, but obviously like at some point I'll be like slightly more focused. Again, no timer because I don't like Pomodoro. I'm more fluid in the way I work. But yeah. Yeah, very funny that in Yokohama you have like you have, again, because it is a very multicultural like city, you have a lot of foreigners. Maybe even more than like Japanese people in certain places, like night places. And this is a bit weird because like in Yokohama, like you have like those kind of like, it's not exactly Tokyo, right? You're outside of Tokyo in some ways. And because of that, like you have some prices for like nightlife activities. It's like lower than what you would find in Tokyo's, but it's still too high for, you know, some people to go there. Like if you're a student, too high. If you're like, you know, a worker, probably too high. So interesting. And obviously we have a lot of migrants. Interesting. I could not think on this disgust, wasted men on thick of intimacy. Research. Yeah, they're talking about like the big raid that was like that occurred in like 2005 in Kanagawa prefecture, across, you know, Yokohama, but mostly like the district, the red light district of Koganecho, which, by the way, was always like kind of a marginalized district. And I think this is also what is interesting about like the idea of Japan nowadays, is that there's like an underside, the underbelly of like Japan and Tokyo that not a lot of people talking about. Well, even in Tokyo, like there's like so much to see, and you have a lot of people that are hanging out mostly towards the west of the city, Shinjuku, Akihabara, and so on, because this is like kind of like the central, well, how can I say that? Like the central hub of the modern otaku culture, and we like it or not, but this is how a lot of people are getting into Japanese culture nowadays, and I did, to be fair. So no shame and no disrespect intended here. But because of that, like there's, I think, the situation where obviously like Japan and Tokyo are like focusing on certain things to showcase like the foreigners and trying to clean the place up so that, you know, elements that seems unruly or quiet or invisible. And to be fair, this is kind of like the point of my research right now. It's like, for me, rivers and water, because this is also the point of this book, rivers are kind of like elements that help reveal this like underside. Because people feel a bit more themselves near the river, or in like on the riverside, which is what you can see a lot in fiction. And same thing like for waterfront in some way. I mean, we talked about that, to be fair, when we explored positive negative angler. But what is very interesting is that I believe that like this side of this, you know, the society is very visible. It's just that you have to search a little bit for them. If you stick, you know, to the very like touristic places, I think you won't see them. Probably. But they're not that hidden. And I think this is also, you know, like I did also like, and we talk about that like on stream, but like I'm very interested in like food studies, and there's always this idea of like finding the perfect restaurant when you go like to another country in Japan or whatever. And I think it's kind of like a wasted opportunity. You should just go, maybe there's like one or two restaurants that you really target because they seem nice or whatever. But I think also there's something nice about like going where people are eating like every day. Because if people are going there to eat every day, there's a reason why. It's probably good food. Maybe not, you know, it doesn't look the best. It's not like your best pictures ever, but it looks nice enough and tastes like good enough for you to have a good time. And those places are not hard to find. Basically go in, you know, whatever restaurant that you can find like on the street, and probably you will find like a restaurant like that. Literally a hole in the wall. And I think this is the same thing here. Like if you are searching for kind of like the marginalized side of like Japanese society, you will find it. But you have to go like slightly out of your way. You need to leave like the very touristic places. But yeah. So Yokohama, a symbol of the nation's westernization, modernization, industrial progress. And yeah, obviously because of that, it ran kind of like against the reality of Yokohama, which is like, you know, a lot of sex workers. Yeah, and yeah, a big element also obviously is like the 2008 exposition in like Yokohama. Interesting because like I need to do like maybe a little search on the mayor of that time. It's not you. Compared to Carlos Ghosn, probably not a good thing. Oh, because of like, yeah, I see. Okay, so he's a member of the... He is a member of the House of Councillors. Oh, but through like the proportional representation, interesting. Can I see like your... Yeah, there's something about like the exposition also, like this is something we should explore probably, because there was like an exposition in like 2008, which was like the exposition, well, the exhibition for the opening of the country, the Keikoku Expo. And it took place in Yokohama, but like it was a failure, right? It was a failure. Why was it a failure? I mean, probably because we need to search like more about that, about this particular expo and why it was such a failure. Is there like some academic articles about it on... There's no... Interesting. Yeah, there's something like, there's some articles about this expo and like the debt contracted there, but I don't think I'll be able to check that. Interesting. I mean, to be fair, like I don't know why I'm searching about that right now, because it's slightly out of the scope. It's not out of the scope completely, it's just a bit... It's late in the chronology, I should focus on something else. Hiya! I hope that you're doing well, Ellie. This is kind of like a very, chill stream right now. I'm working. So sometimes I'm silent, sometimes I'm yapping, but this is pure second monitor content. And don't mind the silence. Like again, if there are questions or whatever, if you want to yap, I'm happy to, but I'm also focusing on my research. Chill is perfect. I think so. I mean, and it just working like this on the backstage is without showing too much. There's less preparation for me, so it's good. Like I can come in, work without worrying too much, and this is nice. So it was like 2.5 billion yen is basically back then it was like $10 million of debt, something like that. This is crazy. Fell short. Yeah, there's a debt, but it just failed, right? It just failed, and it's hard to know why. This is like that phenomena where having someone, a pet in the room with you improves productivity. Oh wait, anyways, back to productivity tab. I mean, yes. At least no. I mean, that's why there's my screen like blurred on the edge of the screen, so you can see that I'm actually working, and that is pushing you to work as well, to be productive. Or do whatever you want, to be fair. Like if you have like some, cleaning to do, house maintenance, I mean like intendance, everything is fine. We're going through life together. Interesting. Well, obviously you were not really re-elected after that failure, but okay, interesting. And that happened like 5 years before, like in 2005. So I have some plants that need some replanting. Well, do that, and you will be able to say that this afternoon was wisely spent. I think having this type also of things, at least for me, like there's a balance between like work and play, to be fair. I am working, but this is not like, it's pretty chill at the same time, and I think I need like that, a little bit of a more relaxed working session, because I'm working a bit too hard, I think. The eradication of Baishun was long awaited. But yeah. She's very interesting because she is talking about like this marginalized community as another world. And this is very funny because it's the same way I am like referring to them like in my own research, like entering like those space, be it physical or like social, it is entering another world because rules are not the same as like the prim and proper rules of like the city. It flew out of the red. Because they were sort of in excess of my memory project. Yeah, exactly. Very interesting what she says. I initially visited there to generate stories about displaced lives and gain an understanding of what a life in Goganicho might have been in the past, yet I engaged present lives. And I was unexpectedly entangled with them through the performance of roles in the space I was inhabiting ethnographically. I was searching for the ghost for those displaced lives, but I ended up absorbed by another world of lives, at least for a short period of time. I think this is very important to remember that, like, the society is dynamic, culture is dynamic, and you will always find things that are like actively moving and changing and living. So very, very interesting, which is also kind of like the point of my research. There's a modernization of like the city riverscapes in certain ways that might make some people happy, that makes the government happy, that is kind of like tied to, you know, overall modernization and the beautification of like the cityscape for foreigners and whatever, especially with Japan being such a touristic attraction nowadays. But people are living like there. And again, very, very interesting. Like, there's this film like Keiko Meo Sagashite, where you have like a blind like boxer, and she's like walking near like the river, sometimes to, you know, contemplate her lives and try to understand what she's doing in her life. And this is the point. This is like, the river exists. It has been like rearranged, transformed, modernized, whatever you want. But people are still using them. They are still using that space for their own thing. People have their own agency, and this is very important when doing anthropology, ethnology, sociology. People are actors of their lives. And they are like top-down movement, like things that are imposed onto them, but people can resist, and they will always resist to some extent. So yeah, okay, interesting. Even like in terms of like methodology, this I agree so much with this book. This is like my ideal research. Very similar to like the Ogatamura book from Donald Wood, where he spent like a lot of time in like Ogatamura and really talk to a lot of people and see how they interpret the world around them. Which is also like, you know, the way I don't like travel a lot nowadays, but it's kind of the way I'm seeing, you know, tourism nowadays. I think it's like you need to engage in some good terms with like the local culture and with the people there. Hence, like the idea of like checking, you know, for restaurants, like small restaurants where locals are eating, because you can like, I don't know, get closer to what they really feel to some extent, how they truly live their lives and the world around them. And there's like a very good channel for that, to be honest. Like I think they are doing only shorts, but like Japan Eats is a very good channel to that extent. invisible things are not necessarily not there. Yes, I mean, one of the banger of like Toni Morrison. Very interesting, this idea of museum exhibitions, because they are part, yes, of the political process that is like showcasing a very specific idea of the city or the history. And this is also like what you can find in the Edo Tokyo Museum, with certain ideas about like Edo that are a bit like unclear. For example, there's like this idea that like Edo was a very clean city. It's really not the case. Edo was a dirty city. Not everything was, because right now in Japan, like pollution is a big issue, and like littering is a big issue. Like this myth of like, oh, Japan is very clean. In some places, probably, not everywhere. And there's this idea, we don't have like the time, and this is kind of off topic, so I won't talk too much about that, but like this idea that back in the Edo era, people were like processing like their garbage in a very good way, and we have lost that. We should like go back to our roots. But it's not the case. Like a lot of things were thrown just on the streets. Not everything was recycled. I think waste, like human waste, was partly recycled, but not everything. And it also like probably caused some epidemics in the 19th century. So some museums, they still have a very specific idea of what they want to convey. And maybe this is not exactly voluntary, but this has been the result of, a broader political but national discourse about like the country. And this idea of like Edo being a very, clean city, this is not just museums, like you will find that in textbooks and stuff like this. So yeah. And popular culture, obviously. Popular culture, it will not show certain things. I think that's why, it's good to have like weird things, even if, it's kind of clean, like Arakawa under the bridge. I think it's a very good way of showcasing some sort of marginality. I think it's a bit too funny and clean to really like be, interesting in like a political way, let's say. But you have like some manga that are talking about that. And I think this is also what I enjoy about like this particular section of my research. Like it's that a lot again of fiction, a lot of books or whatever films will showcase like these rivers and waterfronts as something with like a dark history, like the reverse side of Japanese history. And I think this is the case because we talked about that in Cosmology of Kyoto, but like rivers and water, this is a boundary. This is a natural boundary. And this is like linked to... This is linked to history very easily. The war, pollution. Yeah. Okay. Shin-san, son of Pub Mary's mama, used the term water trade in a regretful tone to refer to the work of his mother and mothers of many other mixed-race friends of his in Yokohama. Oh, by the way, let me check a book in my bookshelves. I'll be back. find very interesting this idea of like interviewing like the son, and the son is speaking with like fondness and kind of regret about like the work of like his mother, like the sexual work of his mother. And it's very funny because like here in France we had like a manga that released I think last year by Takao Saito that is very well known, and the manga is like Shofu Naomiyawa, the tales of the prostitute called Naomi. And in this book, like Takao Saito explains that. Let me check the interview at the end. Maybe there's no interview. I hate this edition because there's no like critical documents or whatever. Oh yeah. Okay, so he was working in Osaka in like a hairdressing salon. And he was like, this salon was like in front of the new district of Imazoto, which was also like a red lantern district. And a lot of people that came like to the hairdresser salon were prostitutes. And he made that manga, which is very unusual for him, to pay respect to those women that were working there. They would like talk about like their lives in the sex working industry. And yeah, and he tells that like this manga was a subdued love declaration to those women that were working there, because he loved them with honesty, a lot of honesty. He had like a very deep fondness for them. And this is very funny again, like not someone that was working there, but someone that were close to those women and felt like the disappearance of like this particular trade was also the loss of a certain identity. And this is why also in a lot of my research and in the works that I have pre-selected, there's a lot of things where it's about teenagers in riverscapes, because this is the age where you're searching like for your identity. And I think like the river, the miasma, the boundary, it helps you like contemplate like other possibilities before you go out away from the river and you integrate like the adult life and the city proper, something like that. Okay, interesting. Sorry. Water is also associated with sensual experience in Japan. For example, love scenes are traditionally called nureba, or wet scenes, obviously. And Gabriel Kaur point out, obviously, that in the landscape of urban Japan, the concentration of sexual services industry business, or fuzokugai, is usually part of a larger pleasure district, or kannakugai, which include pubs, bars, and clubs. That's why I believe, like, often near rivers, or at least water. this idea of like pleasure district, because a pleasure district, this has never been something that will be openly acknowledged by officials. Like, this is not a good part of your city. You will tolerate it, obviously, also because you might be, you know, using its services, but I don't think in our modern societies, like, politics would acknowledge this, being like, oh, this is a legitimate official, you know, occupational category, whatever. So yeah, that's like, again, the tension between this part of like society and then the very clean part of like Minato Mirai ni Ichiuichi. Hostess club is a hidden space between the office and the home. Yeah, because you have this blur between like work and play, right? And I think this is also very interesting because when you think about like this type of prostitution or like hostess work, this is, yes, especially the case for foreign women, because like there's obviously like an elevated form of prostitution, or, you know, hostess work in Japan, but this is like geisha. Very interesting analysis of like mama also as a name. I should take a look at that at some point, but this is outside the scope of, okay, what I want to check. Okay, interesting ideas. Let's talk about Yokohama now that we have like those. Yokohama is a water city, a port city. Yes, the port itself is a reclaimed land on the water. A large number of canals that were used as transportation routes over the course of Yokohama's urban development and industrialization that were made possible by the labor of migrant men and women from impoverished regions of Japan and Japan's former neo-colonies. The area along the water's edge have attracted both international and transnational migrants. And it was avoided by those with economic means and other residential options for the fear of flood and the poor condition of the land. Interesting. But also muddy jobs in... Okay. Interesting. Okay. Methodology interesting, but I'll read that at a later point. Okay, let's talk about like Minato Mirai. I argue that the image of a vacant land is a political construction that has strategically been made possible by the authority-driven urban redevelopment of Yokohama. So in 1989, there was like the Yokohama Exotic Showcase to commemorate the government 100th anniversary and the 30th anniversary of the opening of the port of Yokohama. Yes, part of like a boom of exhibition, obviously. Yokohama's was sponsored predominantly by Japanese private companies, including powerful former Zaibatsu conglomerates. Children and the Cosmos was the theme of the exposition. Yokohama's exposition was rather a defensive strategy intended by the city to mark the beginning of new Yokohama when its port had lost its economic significance. Due to the relocation of private companies' headquarters from Yokohama to Tokyo due to the post-American occupation and the explosive growth of Tokyo that followed. Yes, because there was the redevelopment of Tokyo and of Chuo, with a lot of people moving there. This led to Yokohama's transition into a bed town for people who had residences that merely for rest in the evening and who commuted to Tokyo for the productive and consumptive activities of work and shopping. So yeah, kind of like the invention of a tradition, the invention of like a new future when it's already on the decline. Yeah, but I mean, pretty normal for those types of projects, to be fair. Okay. So Minato Mirai was my imaginary gateway to the world outside Japan. A third sector organization which received half of its capital from the public sector and another half from private companies, totaling 2 trillion yen in investment. So Landmark Tower in 93. Office buildings, hotels, convention center, hospital, amusement park, museum and shopping facilities, which is also like, if I remember correctly, in the Detective Conan film 2026, am I mistaken? Is it 26? No, 24? Yes. It's taking place like in Yokohama, the explosion, right? Or am I crazy? Oh my god, can I have like the summary not in Wikipedia because it's localized with like the English names? No, it's not this one. Am I... Scarlet Bullet. Oh, it's 22, no? Yeah, it has to be Zero, the Enforcer, because it's the one where Kogoro is. Edge of Ocean. Because it has no... yeah. Okay, so it was invented for the occasion. Which is also very interesting in like... Meitante Conan, is that it's clearly Tokyo, but we're not using like real life locations. For some reasons. And I think this is also kind of like a deliberate choice. Because only the fillers of like making mentions of the Sunda River. I don't think that Aoyama did like a single official mention of the Sunda River in the manga. Interesting. While originally constructed as a progressive future city by modern engineering, the landscape of Minato Mirai Nijuichi is today much more ambivalent. On the 2008-2009 annual broadcast of Yukutoshi Kurutoshi, NHK's cross-country temple and shrine tour show, the first site that was visited was the Red Brick Warehouse and the Cosmo Clock Ferris wheel in Yokohama's Minato Mirai Nijiichi. The program was designed for Japanese families who spend the end of the year at home while listening to the mass-mediated tolling temple bell at midnight on the New Year's Eve, of course. It was new for the program to feature a view of modern and Western urban structures, as it almost always presents traditional Buddhist and Shintoist landscape from different parts of Japan. I mean, this is kind of like the sentence that nobody likes, but like between tradition and modernity. Yeah, I don't know. Let's check like the other book that is really focused on Minato Mirai. Very interesting. A completely inarticulate container with no architectural pretensions, whose only purpose is to accommodate certain processes or offices, and which simply represents a massive quantity of square meters imposed on an urban site without any more positive contribution. This is true, and this is also what you can see in a lot of like reclaimed land in Tokyo. Like, yes, it's near the water, but it's like we have really put random things there without too much consideration. A completely inarticulate container. But yeah, this is very interesting because I think I was talking about that and I stopped earlier, but like you want to attract like business institutions and companies, but you also want to attract like tourists. And this is not the same thing. They don't like the same thing. Like the urban complex has to have some, business offices to attract like those companies. And I think this is really the goal of the cityscape of like the waterfront, which is why like Chuo or like we saw that with Yokosuka, but Yokohama, you have like those very high skyscrapers, because those are either very, high-end residences for wealthy people, or they are just like business offices for big companies. And that's why, as a tourist, unless you know what you want to do very precisely, I think that's why not a lot of people are hanging out in Chuo, and will mostly hang out in the western part of Tokyo. That is, struggling with specific issues due to like massive over tourism and gentrification and so on. The self-proclaimed project of the century. Intended to promote the independence of the city of Yokohama. Yes, it wants to be a hub. Always living, night and day. When was this book released? 2003, so that's why like Minato Mirai is not complete yet. What's the population of Yokohama today? What's the current demographic evolution of the city? Wait, I don't have this information here? No, here, okay. It's still on the grow, but it has been like slowing down like a lot in the past decades. So we are still sitting at like almost like 4 million people. Interesting. It'd be interesting to know also like the evolution of like the GDP, but I'm a bit too lazy for that right now. I guess it's still the second largest city of Japan. Yeah, because Yokohama was the one occupied by the Americans after the war. Hence the growth of Tokyo, by the way. Throughout the 60s, the environmental quality of the city deteriorated, leading to problems of pollution as agricultural lands were developed into housing. We kind of talked about that, right, when we talked about Attack on Friday Monsters, I think. I think when we talked about fishing and how, like, there's this transition to, like, not the countryside, but at least farmed land into industrialized districts. It comes with, like, a lot of problems. Because the growth of the population is outpacing the urban development, and this is what we saw in Yokohama, this is what we saw in Stagaya, and this is what we saw in a lot of suburbs in Japan after the wars. After the war, I mean. And because of that, yeah, those were deemed as, like, problems that would need to be taken care of later during, like, a new redevelopment. Okay, so it's really like the city of the future, connecting people and stuff. A harmonious, enjoyable urban environment. But then there's the question, who is, like, hanging out there? Technology will provide a better life. Mm. Yeah, this is a very open space, like, to the point it feels like kind of like antithetical to the rest of, like, I have this park, interesting. What is it called? I can't remember when this particular thing was built. It's so funny how there's like this distinction like with the train track, the road, and then like it's another city completely. Guess you can come here like after hanging out, but it's like you're so far away from Tokyo though. Yeah, this is the tower. How big is Yokohama? Like, all of this is part of Yokohama. I thought, okay. But then Kawasaki is just like this. Oh, because it's Ota. I see, I see. What's the airport? Do you have an also like, no, it's like, you come from Haneda, right? Interesting. I need to find like some survey of what people thought about like Minato Mirai. If they wanted this, or if this is something that, you know, they did not like initially but warmed up to. Don't know if like there's something in here. Very interesting. I love the way she's writing. Like, I think like a lot of you have some historians and people working in social science that have interesting research topics, but they don't know how to write, and it makes like the reading so boring. I think you can tell stories while, you know, still being very serious about things. And I love when you have those books with where it's a bit more personal, especially like in anthropology and ethnology. Because you are like assuming that you have a situated point of view, and I think this is quite important. But yeah, I love stories. Oh, interesting that. I should do some research on the Haoka River and what people thought about it being filled. You're the new one. Not the new one, but doesn't matter. I don't think I'll find like informations in here. It will have to wait for another day. I need to take that in note, but it became like a highway. Where is it? So you were a river. What? Eh? I'm a bit confused here. They made a pleasure district for foreigners. Where is it? Shinagawa. Mm. Hmm. yeah. In Atsuko Akagawa's study of practices of heritage conservation in Japan, she suggests that the state used heritage for nation building in the quest for defining a national character and culture, to show national distinctiveness and to establish national identity in the context of an increasingly globalized world. But she suggests that in the period of rapid economic development and urbanization after World War II, the Japanese government began to utilize traditional vernacular culture to project the desired image of Japanese identity. In Yokohama, however, it seems that the opposite trend applies, where the municipal government puts effort into showing the distinctiveness and reinforce its identity through conservation of Western architecture. Structures to be looked at by tourists, but that are emptied of their original functions. The old Yokohama that was constructed Yeah, I see. There's like this interplay between like Minato Mirai, that is kind of like the city of the future, and Kanai, that is the city of the past, like the old Yokohama. And that was reinvented or invented for the sake of having like the old. Time compression, space-time compression. In Yokohama, however, it seems to me that the musealization of the Kanai district is not occurring as a reaction against capitalists, but yeah, as something like that is driven by capitalism, with the municipal government semi-project to revitalize Yokohama's economy through the commercialism and tourism. At a cultural level, both the Minato Mirai's project and the musealization of Kanai district are the government's strategies to re-establish the city's identity as a traditional cosmopolitan, that is westernized city, more so than the Edo Tokyo, to which Yokohama has always been a subordinate. Yeah. Yeah, okay. It's really about like deleting specific part of the past, keeping other parts safe or even reinventing them. Okay, so my study of marginality, I can define it as ways of living that are rooted in history, so in the past, and that are not fitting in the new discourse of the city. Part of the past that were evacuated by the government. And that explains why I need to check. I need to check, like maybe like take all the stories where we find like corpses thrown in the Yokohama Bay and see how, well, who's the profile of the people that are killed? Because I feel like you have two possibilities. Either you have like the figure of marginalized people, women, people working, workers, people working in the nightlife industry, that are killed by a powerful person, with the possibility of this person being like a Westerner, rich Westerner. I don't know, there was this game like the Yokohama ko Renzoku Satshin Jigen. Was not very good, but I don't know if we can find like complete playthrough or not. Maybe we can. Oh, it will change the name of the thing on the... Let me... Because anyway, we'll never... I remember that we were never... checking the... Or were we? Video moving pictures? No way. You have this, obviously. This is the lighthouse. No, I can't remember. It has been too long. I've played this game. I can't remember. I think it was like 2 years ago. Just can't remember. Well, are people do care about the... I don't know. I need also to do like a cursory like study of like how many games or like series in detective fiction that is happening in Tokyo, how much of them are happening in Yokohama. So much things I need to search for. Research is very time consuming. And that's why like with streaming I have less time to do this. So having like, I used to do like sessions of like, 10 hours, 8 or 10 hours of like research per day. And because like you have a very specific question that you want to answer, and you really need like some time, a lot of time to explore like the topic. And unfortunately, I don't have like this time anymore. Every time like I have a big question that is, coming to my mind, I'm like, it's very interesting, but I don't have like 8 hours I can put like straight into research, and I don't really want to break my research, in smaller parts. And that's why like I'm struggling a lot in like getting my research done lately. I think that's kind of why I wanted to do like chill stream like this today, just to be able to be productive. But I don't know. It's not an unproductive session for me, I'll say. Like I have a lot of ideas right now. But I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Because I don't know, I need to go back. This book like is very interesting. Today I want to see really how she talks about like the disappearance of the trade, or the transformation of the trade. The music is too good. I'm vibing to the music. And I think that a lot of people that are not playing Genshin Impact are kind of like underestimating a lot the music. I think among all the Hoyoverse games, it has like the best soundtrack by very far. And I think this is probably my favorite gaming soundtrack. All game, like among all games, because it's just so ambitious, so diverse, and yeah. But people don't like it because there's no lyrics, and then it feels boring for them. They don't have like the big epic moments that you can find in like other games. Whatever. I mean, some stories I really like. I really like Genshin for like the stories. The world stories are crazy. I really like them. I've not done a lot of world stories, quote unquote, on Star Rail because I'm kind of late on the game. We're just doing the events and the main story. And this is, yeah, I'm enjoying what they are trying to do right now. But yeah, Genshin, I don't know, the world stories are just too good. If they were dubbed, it would be too good. It's so annoying, like this idea of like trying to find like the books and the movies that are taking place in Yokohama, because it's kind of like a lost endeavor anyway. Like you have like too many things you need to check. You cannot be exhaustive, so you cannot run like any quantitative analysis on that. I don't really know what approach I want to have like in this particular chapter. Yeah, because there's like... Pass Hama no Meri-san. What is this? Hideo Mori's photographic documentary Pass Hama no Meri-san. What is this? That's a book. Desho? Ugh. It won't be easy to find that book, I guess. Oh no, this is okay. This is a documentary. I'm crazy. This is on Prime, by the way. By the way, meaning that I could watch it. Oh, very interesting. Like it's a book about like the disappearing prostitutes in Yokohama. Too many interesting books, to be fair. To be fair. I guess I won't be able to find that like on YouTube, the show. Like it's probably not the case. This is like available on YouTube for free? For free? Oh my god. I mean, the number of like old, you know, documentary / like films that you can find on YouTube, this is very good. This is very, very, very good. We should like... I should watch like part of it at least right now. Oh, like a lot of very interesting things here. Okay, so we need to talk about that at like some point. I need to... Interesting. You can probably see like a few things, even if it's blurred. Okay, they are interesting. Like it's a series of interview about like Yokohama Mari and about like the time, because she passed away, right? So it's like kind of like the memories of her in like a changed Yokohama. Very interesting. Okay, I should like probably put that in my... Okay, 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 okay. Hmm. Yorishiro, material objects or places where Japanese people traditionally believe that kami lodge and settle, which is the case obviously for like rivers, but like also. Oh, there's really something also to say about Fatal Frame at some point, but especially the fifth game, because you have like this theme of water running through the game. I mean, the game is like Maiden of the Black Water, but I really don't know how I want. Oh, I don't. Let's not think about this. This is for later. Mm, I need to find like the exact book. Oh, I can feel that I'm tired. The sudden wave of fatigue coming onto me. Interesting. Can I find you, Hideomori? Not exactly. Will be annoying to find. Okay, that's you. That's this book. That's the book I want. I think obviously I won't find you here. Okay, so yeah. Should try to get this at some point. Somewhere. Would be nice to like check the inside a little bit, but alas. That's a problem of doing research while not being in Japan. Everything is so hard to find. Unfortunately. But okay, interesting. Yeah, but this is really like about body more than anything, right? Oh, but they are very interesting things because it seems that there are a lot of photographs that are taken near the river, the Oka River. So I should check this this book. Okay. The problem here is that I don't have a lot of We don't have any music, by the way. This was like a bit weird. This felt like I don't know. Don't know what I'm searching for exactly. Could be interesting also to take a look at like walking tours and but this is okay new this is she's everywhere. She's way too based with this topic. Seek to understand walking tours as a mean and method to critically engage the history that we seek to uncover and the absence we face in our attempts to uncover them, not only the social relations that constitute and are constituted by this space, but also our own relationship to current communities that exist in the space. Yes, 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 yes. Dee-da-da. Da-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da. Where is it taking place? Yeah, the city is not mentioned here. The seaside city of K, which I don't know. Honkaku-shi, Honkaku, Yokohama. And I want... Yokohama. What are you? What is this? Yokohama étranger. I love French. Yokohama étranger. Et what étranger? Can I have like a summary of the book, please? Pretty please? I don't get it. This is just yeah, it's just like a series of short stories about like the old Yokohama, but this is like a bit too, probably like a bit too much in like the history of, well, the official history of Yokohama to be interesting, I think. I don't know. Again, I was looking for detective stories that are taking place in Yokohama. And to be fair, from this research, it feels quite unclear. Let's search for detective stories. Tante. I mean. Can search for Tante Shosetsu probably. And there's a lot of hard-boiled stories, but oh wait, interesting link here. Novels that are set in Yokohama, in Kanagawa. Very interesting. Okay, interesting. Whoop, not what I wanted to do. Kyotaro Nishimura. Oh, of course. But this is like... Because you're known for... Train Mystery, or am I crazy? Yeah, and so some of your books were set in Yokohama. Desho? You have like written too many things. This is madness. Yokosuka Murder Port. Oh, interesting. Wait, but this is a real case. This is a bit too gruesome for me. This is what I want. Very interesting cover. Need the name of the author, I think it would help. You have so many of like those sites where, you know, just blogs that are archiving like a lot of information. A husband who dreams of being a novelist and a wife disappointed in her incompetent husband. One of the crumbling couples committed a crime of cash looting. A cheating wife and a young... Interesting. So it's like... I need to read that, but like... Again, like... How do you find this? How do you find this? Oh, by the way, put the name of this somewhere before we forget what it is. Ding, do, do, do. Et I can't... You don't want to show me the name of the... I'm losing it. I am losing it. Bum. Well, I don't know. The OST cannot be that good. Yeah, it seems like it will be almost impossible to find it. I mean, you can get it for almost nothing because it's Japan, and like you can find books like for literally like 1, cents, but like they don't deliver to France. They don't deliver to France. This is so annoying. Doing research like remotely, this is not making my life easier. Well, there's a lot of Hiratsuka, eh? Eh? Where's my... Oh yeah, but it's so far away. I mean, it works because it's still like... I don't know. Do you have like... Is this a... Oh, this is the Sagami River, of course, of course. Could be interesting. Oh my god, so many books I need to read. I really don't know how to create this section. I do have like memory escape, but... Harbors. How can you be like... There's also this thing like... If... My hypothesis, because we saw that in fiction, is that like riverscapes and like waterfronts are places to contemplate life. So how are they at the same time spaces with like conflicts, but modernization? What is happening there that is allowing both to coexist? I don't know. I'm missing something. I need this light bulb idea to progress, but I don't have it. Which is also not the point of the stream. I mean, the point was to have like a better grasp on like Yokohama's development, which I think we did. One interesting thing also with like those works by the... Maybe a tea break is needed. I mean, I've been drinking like, green tea during the entire stream. I mean, this is just a big topic. This is too big of a topic, and I think I would have like a better time. Thank you for the hydration check. Although again, I'm drinking. I was drinking more. I think it's easier to like take specific like books and films and try to like identify a few key points, and then like over the course of like several analyses, there are some like trends that are like showing when viewing all the works in a holistic way. But yeah, right now I don't know. I don't know. 고간의초. Yeah, again, this is like a district that was like near the Ooka River. Oh, how I wish I could like interview like people there, but there's also the thing like in Yokohama with like Yokohama being such like an artistic district. Lots of artist studios and stuff like that, but this is also because it is the future, like put a lot of jazz artists and stuff like this in Yokohama, and it's like a better image of the city, and you will be able to erase like, again, prostitution at the same time. Since the final raid in like 2005, neighborhood's new history also has been invented by the Koganicho Area Management Center, Cleanup Committee, Kanagawa Prefectural Police, and artists and residents. A safe and secure neighborhood through rigorous surveillance and security measures in timeline with text and photographs that mark significant events since its inception in 2003. Operation Bye Bye, oh my god. Okay. But what is even more interesting to me is that the way there are alternative initiatives emerged and were centralized in one particular unit of a Chonnoma block located along the Ooka River between the Ota Bridge and the Sueyoshi Bridge. This block, which is sometimes called Koganecho Riverside, independent business, and they have been converted into bars. Interesting, very, very, very interesting. Because this is a place for the marginalized. Is there any reference of it like on the internet, or is it like too niche? No, okay, this is everything here is some sort of like official story, you know, not propaganda, but like, yeah. It's cooked. Oh my god, but this is impossible to find like resources on that, like without being in Japan. Yeah, because he's looking like the basically brothels were like lining up near the rivers. Interesting. The landmark tower, which he metaphorically described as a gravestone that embodies the death of Koganecho as a place of sex workers. In his eyes, the high-rise is a symbol of a break in Yokohama's history where the completion of the Minato Mirai post-industrial redevelopment project marks the end of post-war Chonnoma businesses that supported the industrial development of Yokohama in the time of the Japanese bubble economy. Mm. People mourn the passing of what they themselves have transformed. Very interesting. Oh, I really want to do on-site interviews and ethnography. Oh, I miss research. I miss research so much. Maybe I should go back to the university. Who knows? Who knows? Interesting. Well, okay, this is like very different, and maybe I don't want to read that like today. Very interesting book, such an interesting book. Okay, because how do I connect that with like Yokosuka? In Yokosuka, we have seen how there is, but this is from tourists, right? This longing for something a bit different, a bit weird. But what people there are saying, at least like the middle class, is that the crackdown on brothels was not a bad thing. But what's the opinion people on? This is too hard. This is just too hard. I need to check like fiction works that are taking place in Yokohama. Where is this taking place? Like Saito. No, it's Osaka, so yeah. Because River's Edge is taking place in a nondescript city, so it's hard to... don't even know. I have like bookmarked things and I can't even remember what it is. We've been here for like 2 hours and a half. What is this? Oh, I think it's not something that I read, but like my best friend read this. Probably. I can't remember. There's also this... in Suzume, right? She's falling in the river at some point. Is she falling in the Konda River? I can't remember. I think she is. Yeah, this is the Konda River. This is where it crosses, right? Dum, dee, da, da, ba, dum, ba, dum, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Dee, dee, doo. Da, ba, 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 ba. Is this here? It's not. At least I don't think it is. Oh, it's the one here. Okay, okay, okay. Can't see the river from here. Let's go on the other side. Because on this side, this is obviously near Akihabara, but why was it like Bam, 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 bam. Bada, bada, bam, bam. It's very funny because the way it's here, it's like kind of like have so many things. I wish I could like see the park, but I don't think you could see it. But you see, we're inside the station, but this is not what I want. There's really no way to check like the park. It's kind of like, obviously, against the risk of flood. The terraces is like a bit up, but from here it almost looks like everything is made so that you don't see the river from like the streets. I guess you can see things if you're like on the train, but yeah, it really feels like a river that shouldn't be seen, which ties with the idea of the film, but I mean, you can walk in here, but can you walk the entire distance? No, you're blocked at some point, right? Yeah, you're not able to continue here. You have like some, obviously, cafes and stuff. And from the other side, you cannot stand in here. Almost looks like, okay. Like the Konda River, except for the bridges, is kind of like an invisible river. Because you have like those businesses that are really like near the... Yeah, okay, you have like one thing. I don't know why it's blurred, but one space that is kind of like concealed. I don't know, but after that, like it's very similar to what you find also in Osaka, but and this is like that the entire way. Okay, so near the end, it becomes slightly walkable, but also because it is the Sumida River. It's like Sumida River adjacent. That's, but you can't cross here. You cannot like. So it's the end of like the Sumida River. Like walk, and it just stops here. Because all of this section is of course walkable on this Sumida River. Like you can fish, you can, yeah. Of course, the Yakatabune, the pleasure boats. And then you have the park in here. Obviously, recently made. This is part of the regeneration project. You can see people in here. Yeah. Okay, so how do I like interpret that? I don't know. Like it makes sense in like Suzume because it's kind of like The river is a gateway to the other world, with like the worm coming back from the tunnel of the. It's crazy to me. You don't have access to this? Or do you? I think that you cannot. On the entire length of the Konda River, you can't see the river, basically. This is surprising. You can't see the river. The river is not visible from any length of the. Yeah, you need to go to the Edogawa Park to be able to see the river. And even then, I find it like slightly unclear. Because the river is so low. Well, there's like a whole situation with the Konda River, but we don't have time to explore that like today, but on the entire length, I mean, to avoid flooding, but also like, what does it say about the relationship with the, I don't know. Oh my god. Because at this point it's just like a canal. It's considered like as a... Very interesting, that also. Okay. I don't know. What is this? Hakucho to Komori. I forgot. Eh? Oh, it's like, yeah, it's a recent Kegoi Ashino. Yeah, Kegoi Ashino, I need to read more of him. Especially if I'm working on marginalization. There's like, also, let's check. Oop, you shouldn't be able to see that. I can't remember. Famicom, Tante Club, a girl who stands behind. And I want to see the introduction. So it will cut the music for just a bit. Wait, this is the SNES version, but I kind of like... I mean, it's also interesting to check the original. Because there's this body here, and the question is... Do you see the body in the original? You do not see it, I think. Which is not the case for the... I think in the modern version you see it. Yeah, you see like this, and then you see the corpse. Do I have a view from the... Interesting. Do we know where like the games are taking place or not? I don't think so. I don't think we have the name of the city, but... Yeah, it's undisclosed. Okay. Have this scene. Yeah, interesting. Why am I linking that to? One funny thing with like doing this on stream is that I have to take less notes because I can just like check the VOD afterwards to remember what I thought about like certain sections of, you know, books and articles that I'm going through. Music, by the way, music. What was my opening for this? I think it was like Higurashi. It was Higurashi. That's genius. Is it though? I don't know. I should begin with like probably a specific analysis. I mean, to be fair, like the opening analysis is probably Shenmue, but I need to play Shenmue. And the question is, would we play Shenmue on stream? And the answer is probably not, because this is like not a fun game to play on stream. And it would take too long, and this is like playing for like research, which is very different from, you know, what we do on stream. Playing for research is basically I take like breaks of like 20 minutes every 5 minutes to take notes and like check some elements. So yeah. Eco-ambiguity. There's like a social ambiguity as well, I guess. Okay, I don't know. I hope you have been productive though, Ellie, during this, you know, 2.5 hours, 3 hours that you were having the stream in the background. There's obviously like the river and like devotion of the suspect X. No, I think Shenmue is like the opening. Shenmue, eco-ambiguity, transition like small Yokosuka analysis, and then Yokohama, Minato Mirai, prostitution, and I need to do some research on like the Haoka River, but that's probably hard to find. Yeah, I will find nothing about it, I think. Interesting. It has been 3 hours already. It has been. It's already, you know, here at least it's like 7. Very interesting. Is that like a... Okay, that's the like big research themes of. Oh my god, they have like research on sea and port canals in Yokohama in Asia. Examine the changes in Yokohama's waterfront and canals through photographs of the coastal area of Yokohama in the 70s, recorded by the Mikio Takagi lab. They literally have the same research topic as me. What did you write? What did you write? So mostly like post Great Kanto earthquake, but also like new design, but it's more like architectural. Interesting. So you haven't published anything about the topic yet. What is this? Where is the Haoka River? Why do I have no information about it? It's slightly crazy. I can't even situate like the thing on the map, I think. Because it has been filled, so probably I have like no... Yeah, I have nothing. I literally have nothing. Okay. So Konda, there's like one thing I want to check before we end this stream, because I don't think we should like stay here for like 2 more hours. What? It's in Shinjuku, right? Like the Shinjuku River lately has been... There has been some news about it, or am I crazy? Was it not Shinjuku? Am I losing it? There was something like recently about the Shinjuku River rejuvenation. Oh, hello, Blue Cyber. I hope that you are doing alright. But this is like a private public project, right? I remember reading something about the river, but... why is this my model? Because, well, I mean, what can I say? Like, I'm a girl, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I remember reading something about that, but I can't remember. I can't remember at all. Was it not Shinjuku? No, this is not Shinjuku. This is Shibuya, right? Shibuya. I don't know what you're talking about, Blue Cyber, but I support you in your endeavors. Yeah, they have been opening again. Have a good night. Resting is important. This is like the thing they this is so funny because I'm used like to show things as if it was like read together, but like my screen is blurred, so you can't see a lot of things. You are from Vietnam. Oh, this is like very late for you right now, yeah. Yeah, it's like it's only in Vietnam, it's only like midnight. Interesting. I thought it would be like 1 or 2 a.m. Well, thank you for coming and see you later. Okay. The problem with this project of regeneration is that so they want to build like a promenade along the river, the same thing with Isumda River and so on. The problem is, I think that there's some problem with like the project. Like it has been very divisive. Because I can't remember the article that I saw. I think it was like a few months ago. I can't remember. Because the idea of this regeneration is to make like Shibuya more like what people think about Shibuya, which is like Scramble Square. And I don't know. I don't know. And there are many things that I need to check, unfortunately. If I could like find some information about what do you have in here? Yeah, some interesting book in Japanese, but getting them will be a bit hard, probably. Looks very interesting, but this is an article, right? This is the Kanagawa Shimbun, okay. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I could probably try to... To be fair, I shouldn't like spend too much time on this because waterfronts are important, but this is not exactly the same thing as like riverscapes, and I'm kind of going like a bit off track in here, probably. Probably. So I should I don't know. I should make it like a small section on... Or just maybe use it like as a hook before going to the Simla River or something like that. I don't know. Okay, a few ideas. Okay, a few ideas that are interesting. I should make like... I want to make leaf other books, but not like a live stream, full-fledged video at some point. I don't know, maybe like a sort of like remake of the fishing video we made. A fishing presentation that we made. I don't know. But make it like a true video with like tight editing, so it feels nice to check, and maybe like go a bit like in depth onto video games. I should rewrite my script and like expand a bit more on certain topics. Because if I make a video on that, it's like 20 pages long, which is probably like one, I don't know, half an hour probably. Oh, I can feel that I'm hungry as well. I should try to do one video during the summer. There will be also like, I know that Sigrid talked about like mumming in the server. I have done some preliminary research on the topic yesterday. I think that in 1 month we'll have like a presentation on mumming in Japan. Probably. Because there's a lot of things that is interesting, like the connection between Finland and Japan, and how Japanese people are considering Finland as, or viewing Finland as the ideal country, and how mumming is used in that like idealization of Finland. So we might want to do an episode about that, like at some point. In 1 month, give or take, something like that. Yeah, that would be like my projects, probably by the end of, or am I don't know. I won't have my new model before the end of September, probably. Let's say mid or late September. So we have like quite some time. We have like 3 months. So we can do like a Leaf of Their Books episode on mumming. And I can like work on a video on fishing, something like that. I would need to rewrite a script then, have something very tight, but still tight, but also like a bit more expensive or expanded on some aspect of fishing. And yeah, like really focus on probably like Kao no Nuchisuri, Umi no Nuchisuri, and like bass fishing, things like that, bass rush, and do like a video that is like 20 minutes long. Or maybe like, I don't know. I'll think of something. Okay, that's probably everything for today. It has been like a lot of reading and mostly like gathering some ideas for me. So for the remaining of the week, on Wednesday, we will be continuing Dragon Quest as usual, our very funny, I don't know, adventure. Into the mid-game. We'll be entering the mid-game proper this time around, so it will be fun, it will be nice, and hopefully we will be able to make some decent progress. And on Friday I'll play Marvelous, which is like the first game directed by Eiji Aonuma, and it's kind of like a Link to the Past-esque game with a lot of puzzles and some kind of like point-and-click elements. You will see. So very adventure, I guess, week, but I think it's nice. So thank you for coming, Ellie. I hope again that you have been productive to some extent, and I'll see you at some point, maybe Wednesday. Thank you for coming, and bye-bye.